Okay, so we're now going to do the Kimura sweep from Z-guard. This is probably one of my favourite moves, and it's a move that I use all the time. I'm going to add a little bit of detail into why and how I make it work. There's little cheat modes in it that you can use as well. And the next video will be what to do if he defends it. I've put some stuff out there already. So I'm in Z-guard. Alright, so this foot's through. This knee is on his hip, okay? I'm not a fan of having a knee shield across here. Once this knee goes too deep, it's so easy for him to sprawl on that, and it makes life difficult. If my knee's in the hip area, if he sprawls on it, it's my femur, my length of my bone that's actually keeping the distance, alright? I've got a very lazy Z-guard. This is my positioning in my Z-guard. I'm not one of these guys that wants to be here. Yeah, I like to keep my head pretty far away from him as he's working. The more he tries to pass, the more slightly inverted I'll get, and it sets up my leg lock game nicely. But anyway, my favourite move from here is the Kimura, or the double wrist lock sweep. Alright, I was brought up with double wrist locks, so it just makes sense to me. So I'm going to make this really, really easy. I'm going to grab his wrist here. He's doing everything right. He's got his hand on his top leg and he's keeping everything forced in. He's got a good base and everything. He's going to start to drive forward. As he starts to drive forward in here, this hand's just going to go underneath his neck. Yeah? Hand on the back of the shoulder. Tend to grip in here. I've got lots of tools now to keep distance. When I'm ready, I just sit and pop and my hand goes over the top. Now, I'm not going to try and grab my wrist at this point. Alright? I keep my hand on this wrist and I keep my arm completely trapped around his shoulder. I'm immobilizing his shoulder. It's an old catch wrestling thing that I was taught many years ago. Weights on this elbow. As I fall back, I'm going to keep his shoulder stuck to my chest. Yeah, what tends to happen if I go here is I loosen up on that shoulder, and he has less control of his arm. Yeah, so I need to keep this locked in, and I keep everything really, really tight. From here, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll back. As I roll back, that's when I finish my Kimura or my double wrist lock. Alright? So everything's really, really tight in here. Now my weight is actually hanging on his elbow, on his shoulder from my elbow. If he tries to posture, it's my elbow that's holding him down there. Alright? And from here I can try and finish the double wrist lock. So first off we'll just finish the double wrist lock or the Kimura. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this towards me, pushing on that hip, pulling on the bottom leg, and I just get until I get to the top. Right? I don't just try and push his arm over his head. I pull the shoulder towards me, keeping it stuck to my chest. As I pull the shoulder towards me, I'm pushing with that knee, I'm pulling with this leg, and I'm rotating that there. And the tap comes a lot earlier. The more I can turn his wrist underneath his armpit, the quicker the tap comes. Alright, so that's the first thing we do once we get to this point. The second thing we want to do at this point is if his weight is locked over me, like most sweeps, if his weight is locked over me and he has no post because I've got this arm here, I don't need to get an inside butterfly hook or an elevator. All I need to do is just start to turn. So I actually kick this leg out. So this leg is actually kicked free. Because this is locked to my chest, I can now just rotate him over the top. And I like to land here. Alright, this is my favourite place to land. You can land on top if you want. I like to land here because I have got so many options. He has so few. Alright, if we go back. If my grip slips and comes down to about here, that's not going to fly. So I need to have something else to help me pop him over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shove everything in that direction, and then I just get a butterfly hook on the inside of him. He says, just get a butterfly hook. It's hard work. Yeah. Once I'm here, the arm's a lot looser, but I can use that to give me some more power to pop him over. Okay, I find you don't need it. Another option is Go again. Okay. Another option is, if he's absolutely mega strong, which a lot of guys out there are, what he'll do is he'll bring his hand onto the inside, bring his other hand in, and he'll actually get his hands, and now what he'll do is, holding his hands, he'll start to posture, and he'll undo my Kimura by Kimuraing myself, alright? So all he does is he sits up strong, and he pulls that hand up his front, and see how it Kimuras me. So that's what pulls my arm out. But I know he's going to do that. So I'm here, I start to feel him posturing. My hook is on the back of his shoulder, so I go with him. As he postures, my hand is controlling his wrist now. My chest is against his chest. He doesn't have a post or a place to base over there, so I can hip bump and turn him into side control. Okay, so that's another option. And my last option when I go in here and he gets his hands together and he's defending and he's got a good strong base, is to bring this foot out and start to step over his hip. I don't like the arm bar, alright? I'm just scared of arm bars. But once I've stepped this out and I'm keeping his posture broken, this goes onto his hip, all I do is yank and pull this out to get the Kimura. So there we go, we've got 4 or 5 options that I do from Z-guard. Key focus, keep his shoulder locked to your body when you get him down there. As soon as he can make any distance, things change, and they never change for the better. Okay?